To talk about all that's happened in the first 100 days of Modi 3.0, we are joined live and exclusive on India Today at this time by one of the senior-most ministers in the Narendra Modi government, Minister for Commerce and Industry, the BJP Lok Sabha MP from North Mumbai, Piyush Goyal. Piyush ji, welcome, and it's great to have you with us, and congratulations as your government celebrates its first 100 days in office for the third time. You know, I want to start by asking you, Piyush ji, ironically, what seems to have been the story of the past 100 days in the public eye. Here you have a government wanting to mark its first 100 days. You had a big 100-day agenda. You're wanting to take to the voters what you've been able to do in these 100 days. And at the same time, the opposition wanting to set the agenda. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal announcing he'll resign, go back to being an Aam Aadmi. So unlike the last 10 years where it was one-way traffic with the government setting the agenda, the 100-day anniversary captures this unique phenomena where the government is trying to set the agenda and is being pushed back by a far more aggressive opposition than in the past.
Now, where is the pushback? It's a matter of shame that an entire party and its chief minister are almost proven to be culpable and have been in jail for the investigations. Charge sheets are expected to be filed, and any effort to resign and try to change the agenda is not going to work. The people of Delhi have seen this corrupt government. This chief minister stands totally exposed, and it's a vindication of the investigative agency's findings that he has been forced to resign. And I don't think the people of Delhi are going to be amused or influenced by this charade. They have seen through the corruption of the Aam Aadmi Party, and they'll make sure that this resignation is permanent.
Piyush ji, the big difference between the past 10 years and the past 100 days is that the BJP now needs the support of allies like the Janata Dal United and the TDP, which wasn't the case earlier. As one of the senior-most ministers in this government, can you explain how that has internally changed the nature of governance? I know the government is seeking to convey continuity, but from within, from your lens, how is it having to take allies on board different from being able to do your own thing without being dependent on what allies think of your decisions?
Rahul, you are missing the Honorable Prime Minister's continuous effort over 10 years to work along with his friends. So right from 2014, 19 and now 24, in each of the three governments, we had representatives of our allies. Even in 14 and 19, when we on our own had an absolute majority, the BJP, we respected our alliance, the National Democratic Alliance. And we did not tell the allies that now you're not required, so we'll form our own government. And that is the credibility of a tall leader, a visionary, and a leader who's clearly today the world's most popular leader. On his birthday today, as we celebrate Seva Divas, as we celebrate Vishwakarma Jayanti, as we celebrate Anant Chaturdashi, as we all pledge ourselves to Swachhata, I think it's a great matter of pride for the nation that after 60 years, we have a popular leader, a prime minister who's been sworn in the third time, along with our friendly parties in the National Democratic Alliance, and all of us with shared thinking, with a common agenda, supporting the development of the country to become a developed nation by 2047. This shared vision powers this government to make breakthroughs and achieve a big agenda in the very first 100 days itself.
Piyush ji, in the briefing the government did over the weekend and even in the press conference by the Home Minister this morning, the government explained what they've been able to achieve in the last 100 days. The opposition, though, says these have been 100 days that have been marked by U-turns, which wasn't the case in the past 10 years. From the decision to hire bureaucrats through the lateral entry, the decision to take back the broadcast bill, sending the Waqf board to a joint parliamentary committee, changing the long-term capital gains tax and indexation which was announced in the budget, and coming up with a modified national pension scheme. They're saying there are multiple policy reversals which show that this government isn't as strong as the first two avatars of the Modi government. How do you respond to this critique of the opposition?
Rahul, I think you have been observing our government's efforts and work and Mr. Prime Minister's own thinking for the last many, many years, whether it was in Gujarat, whether it's in Delhi at the central government. You know, he's the longest serving popular leader elected by the people when you combine his work as a chief minister and the prime minister. But one thing which he has consistently followed and which is a distinct trait of a good leader is that he's a listening leader. He's a leader who's responsive to the need of the times and the needs of the people. He has never shied away from being willing to change track, but always has remained on the course to do what is best for the country. So I don't think there's been any U-turn. If at all we allowed both options, the indexation in long-term capital gains and the new simplified version of capital gains, it's only a reflection of a listening government who felt that nobody should be disadvantaged because of our actions. The 45 people who were sought to be recruited through lateral entry, the policy needed a little tweaking. In fact, when we introduced lateral entry, it was declared by the Home Ministry that it will respect all the necessary government procurement principles. And therefore, we found that this needs to be corrected and probably brought in another form. So I don't see any rollback. These are small issues where we have demonstrated to the people of India that this government and this leader cares for his people, listens to them, and is always willing to have changes along the way.
Piyush ji, can you explain what you think are the big ideas of Modi 3.0? You know, we saw last time Article 370 being brought in. What are the big ideas that you think you've been able to implement in the last 100 days, which you have in your agenda plan for the next 4+ years? The big ideas that you think will define Modi 3.0?
I think the fact that we finally have political stability in the country and that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will get a chance to implement his vision for many more years to come has helped generate confidence in the world, in the India story. They can now see India working hard at thrice the speed, 3 times more effort to get 3 times more outcomes and take India to become a developed nation by 2047. And the fact that the milestones along the way are well defined, are planned, every single element of a person's life, whether it's ease of living, whether it's ensuring a home for everybody. We've already given 4 crore poor a free home, another 3 crore homes expected in the next 5 years. The fact that today nobody in the country sleeps hungry and India is fast becoming a 100% self-reliant economy on food grains and foodstuffs. The fact that we are one of the world leaders on sustainability and moving towards net zero, moving towards clean air and pollution-free environment very rapidly. The fact that the country cares for the youth, supports startups, supports skill development, and wants to make every young man and woman stand on his own legs, either as an entrepreneur, getting a good job in government, in industry, in the services sector, which is growing very fast, get a stable currency, and we see the Indian rupee not only stable but in a way showing strength when the whole emerging markets are in distress. We see an economy where international trade is fast growing. More and more people are getting jobs in infrastructure creation, programs to encourage electric vehicle mobility, to encourage adoption of electric vehicles, to encourage solar power, taking our renewable energy from 200 gigawatt to 500 gigawatt by 2030. You see a plethora of actions, hundreds and hundreds of decisions taken in less than 100 days. Every cabinet meeting making game-changing rapid strides towards our dream to make India a developed nation, with an intermediate milestone that in this term, India will become the world's third largest economy, crossing $5 trillion and rapidly growing thereafter towards a $30 trillion plus economy.
Piyush ji, you come from the state of Maharashtra, which is due for elections in a few weeks from now. There are elections in Haryana, there are elections in Jharkhand. Do you accept that these three states and the verdict that voters throw up in the state assembly elections becomes key to determining the political future of the government? If you're able to win many of these states, it will be sab changa si, Modi ji is back to normal and the BJP is back to being ascendant. If, however, there are poll reversals, could that undermine the pace of reforms going forward?
Rahul, my friend, we are going to win in all the three states of Maharashtra, Jharkhand and Haryana. And in Jammu Kashmir, the government will have the BJP as a member of the government. And you will see a massive improvement in the future of these four states. We are very confident of winning. And the people of India want to see political stability, want to see growth. The people in these four states have benefited immensely from the work of the central government. In Haryana, in Maharashtra and Jammu Kashmir, the work of our NDA governments, and the people of Jharkhand, having gone through so much corruption in their state and absolutely no development, now are yearning for change. So we have bright days ahead for the country, for these four states.
One of the big decisions taken in the last 100 days was that farmers were given more flexibility when it came to exports of products like rice or products like onion. Is that frankly done with an eye on the assembly elections, where this is a big issue in your home state, particularly of Maharashtra? Or do you think this is a signal of the new policy direction you intend to follow even beyond the assembly election cycle?
Rahul, ever since 2014, and I have personally been a part of meetings where the Honorable Prime Minister repeatedly tells us that any decision my government will take, the Honorable Prime Minister's government will take, will always be based on what is good for the country, national interest, the people's good. And elections will never determine any of our decisions. I have once told you also that I had once upon a time a very important decision which my ministry could have taken in an earlier department I ran, which would have helped a particular state in their local election. I went to the Honorable Prime Minister seeking his guidance and permission to announce it. And I said it will help the state government very significantly. Everything is ready. And he said, I don't want you to take decisions just because there's an election in mind. And he didn't allow me to announce it. Everything was ready. He allowed me to announce it after the state elections are over. He doesn't believe that government works election to election. He believes that government works in the long term for the good of the nation. And similarly, we have balanced the interests of consumers and farmers in our various decisions related to the farm sector. Because inflation has been brought under control due to the strong measures both of the government and Reserve Bank of India, both monetary fiscal policy working in tandem, we are back to sub 4% inflation rates now for 2 months in a row. That is what has helped us in bringing back import duties on palm oil, so we can encourage farmers to grow more soybean and oil seeds and become self-sufficient in oil seeds, balancing the interests of low inflation for consumers and the farmers' interests. Similarly, we have a good onion crop expected this year. The Kharif season is just coming in from a few days from now, and Kharif crop cannot be stored. It cannot be kept for long periods of time. Keeping their interests in mind, we have both built up a buffer stock so that consumers can keep getting onion at affordable prices, and give the farmers an opportunity to export their kharif crop so that they get very high prices for their onions. Similarly, we've had a bumper crop in rice. Therefore, we have taken the strong decision to remove the minimum export price on basmati rice, and we are reviewing other elements of export controls to make sure that farmers and consumers both will benefit from government policy. It has nothing to do with elections. These are long-term policies.